China situation, again, Russia and China, in the last few years I can't be bothered to touch it, but I am going to talk about it this time. So what I'm seeing is the following facts that I see anyway. China's leader seems to be more and more isolating himself from even his immediate advisors like Putin, or following his Putinese, should I say, philosophy, becoming more of a recluse, and has become very focused on amassing and creating a superpower of not only China itself, but an empire which will control all the largest economies of the world. And this has been his main push always. But quite frankly, it's now, it's like a tsunami. That's the best way I can tell you. It's like a tsunami. It's coming. It went out, and it afforded him great power and obviously wealth, but came back. It's coming back with with flooding, but in a different way, where the people of China are not putting up with this. There are a lot of underground groups. So to this end, he seems to be forgetting the basics. He is concentrating on gathering, getting, negotiating all his powers, on gaining more strategic pawns in his game of chess. He's after the ownership and control of not only Taiwan, but also other countries, which will serve to tighten his control on technology, finances, economy, arms, etc. He has forgotten, sadly, the people he represents. He has created a duality. He appears to be handing out golden carrots to the people, but really is using the Chinese army to create a hard line of control with fear, manipulating especially all aspects of the poorer citizens, who are desperately, and I can see in several outside villages, hard to survive just for food even, let alone any shelter and stuff. They're more or less being driven into the cities to support his growth plan, which is going nowhere, to be honest. So sadly, I do see that the economy of China is actually near collapsing in different areas. The illusion of great wealth and success of the country as a whole is just that, an illusion. There is only a small percentage of individuals, those who are playing his game, who are being rewarded monetarily, etc. The large majority of people are fighting to survive with the basic food needs, and which is hard to come by. Wages seem to be low and hours long, and there seems to be a lot of double standards and a massive wide breadth in that between the wealth of the rich and the poor. There are a lot of people who are trying to move to other countries and to really make their life in another country so that they can survive, as they're finding it so constricting, obviously under this regime, and being repressed and controlled by the Central Committee, and mainly the main ruling body in China. So to this end, expect to see far more riots, rebellions in Shanghai, Hong Kong, in several major cities in the mainland China too, demanding decent housing, which isn't free, by the way, in certain areas, food, jobs, etc. Sadly, at this time, the Chinese army is well commanded and controlled by the ruling power, the committee. However, on a side note, I do see there is definitely dissension in the ranks, and not only in the lowest level, surprisingly in the highest ranks too, where even it is very much underground and is growing with unrest to see how their families, friends, civilians are being treated, and they don't align with the leaders of the committee. The sad thing here is there are going to be so many who will die for their cause and their beliefs, and not being under the communist-controlled life. There are close to about 500,000 plus that I see, obviously I could be wrong, but who have been arrested and are being retrained, but harshly reconditioned is a good word, mentally, and or are being sent to camps, prisons, even just plain murdered for their actions and beliefs. So this is though his way of controlling people who aren't going to support him. I also see there will be more harsher repercussions against China from other powerful countries who are in a powerful position to throw sanctions against China for not only siding and helping Putin in his horrific war, but also the other methods. There are other methods of retaliation they can use. Yes, we could be coming into an age or a dangerous time of political tension around the world, not only with China and Russia, but with North Korea, which I'll cover. So remember, those who stand on the side of oppression of any kind are not only condoning all actions, but they themselves become and are the oppressor. As with any despot, they will have their day and their actions will catch up to them. Unfortunately, the structure of China, Russia, Syria, and North Korea is that there are too many other despots who are ready to step in and take over and carry the despicable control over their fellow citizens. But really, with the main leaders here of those countries I mentioned, it is something that is, the world is kind of going crazy, obviously. They have nuclear power, and certain Putin is on the brink of, he could be launching. I don't see it, but I do see a few more attacks that are really brutal, where it's near nuclear, not quite, but nuclear, and that could happen round about just after Christmas or in February. Something's going on there with a bomb that's he's just kind of fed up and he wants to get it over and done with, but he's going to suffer quite a few repercussions. And I know all the countries are trying to be independent of oil from them, but again, it all depends on how you can survive. Other countries can survive without the crutch of the oil and other things, and they can do an oil embargo on it. So hopefully that will help you, or I don't know if I'm right in any of this, but I don't. You can let me know. Thank you.